biggest audience I ever had. Don't ask us, our opinions are insane. Nothing matters in our lives but love. Don't ask us, our opinions are insane. I've got nothing left. Do you wonder how it's gonna go down? I just feel so lucky to have this in my life. I don't even want to speculate on what I would be happening if I didn't have these dudes and this music. It sounds incredibly cliche, but you realize that whatever pain you have and whatever pain you're dealing with is worth it. And it's just about getting through it. It's about like surviving that time in your life, because ultimately all the pain that you go through, like growing and learning, just becomes, or if you're doing it right, you know, should become your like number one resource to draw on for everything, in every relationship, handling any type of problem or stress. It's not important to compare. All that matters is that you learn that, you know, your life isn't like defined by the fucked up shit that happens to you. It's all like about how you deal with that fucked up shit. And I mean, when I listen to these songs, like that's me just dealing with this shit. Like I'm just telling the story of the band.
Upon a pebble driveway, there sits a house, and it's the loneliest place. I haven't spent much time there. It wasn't allowed, it just didn't feel right. 'cause it's all built upon a burial ground. It just doesn't feel right, just doesn't feel right. On top of frozen creek, I would love to take you there. It's where it flows through me. On top of frozen creek.
After nearly 5 years of non-stop touring, Circa Survive decided to take some time to create new music. One place that remains sacred to the band is a cabin by a creek in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Here, the band took over 3 years to conceive and write new music for their up-and-coming album, Blue Sky Noise.
Mama built me a log cabin on a mountain so high.
Don't like that. It's too. Feels like sillyishly dark. Gotta be something in there awesome. Gotta be something uplifting in it. Maybe there doesn't.
So high, so high.
Yeah, I watched that shit last night on my TV with like real sound, not on my earphones. It's just terrible. It's brutal.
Pretty brutal.
It sounds brutal. It was amazing.
Misleading most, I'm supposed imposter in
So if I hop on a train at like 4:30, I should get there time? Like hop on a train at 4? 2 hours? Yeah.
How are you getting to the train, Meredith?
Yeah, probably. I haven't even told her anything yet. I gotta call her.
Get it all sorted out. Otherwise, one of us will take you.
She's not happy.
I just brought up the possibility of switching, living together in the morning.
Each album generally has 3 cycles to it: writing, recording, and touring. Now, after 3 years at home, Circa will head back out on the road and perform the final task for this record cycle.
So I was still enrolled in school there when I checked into rehab for substance abuse, and then dropped out, because I was just totally unstable, and spent the next 2 years just living in my parents' house, working. 2 years later, I moved to California just to do something, just to try something out. It was definitely the coolest thing to date that I ever did. Like, I went against everybody in my entire life, trying to convince me that you don't need to go anywhere, do what you want. I'm like, well, what I want to do is go somewhere, so I kind of have to. And I got to totally reinvent myself, and, everybody that I met out there, considered me like a singer.
Like that. So there wasn't really like an exact moment, but it kind of just snowballed. It was like, as long as I can remember, I wanted to play drums, and I found them in the garbage, and it was just building and building until it was like, shit, you're not paying attention to your schoolwork or anything, not paying attention to anything else in life except for playing music. And then I dropped out of high school, and then I went on tour with Tozin's band, actually, with Reflux, when I dropped out of high school. And then after that, it was just working shitty jobs, trying to find other bands to play in. And
I just remember the first tours we did were in cars. We had 4 cars. One of them, we drilled a hole in this fucking Corsica so it could haul a trailer. He fucked his car all up. What you did is you worked a shitty job and you saved up all your money so you could go on tour. And you spent all the money you saved on food. We didn't do per diems. We didn't have any of that shit. We would be barely making $100 a night playing basement shows in New Jersey, playing churches in Connecticut, going anywhere we could, just to have that feeling of community. Because our first show was in California, and we had 2 days basically to make it there. Literally exactly the amount of time it was going to take us was, okay, we have to be on stage in exactly 48 hours. So we drove straight, only stopping to pee in this van that we had no idea if it was going to be okay. No one ever looked at it or anything. Eventually it was overheating and stuff as we got to the desert and all that stuff, 35 hours into it. And that was like the first time I ever saw the country. It was like in that experience.
If I look back to the start of this band, I mean, we were like stealing food to live, and we were sleeping in the van or on anyone's floor that would let us sleep on their floor. I mean, we did anything it took to just be on the road and just play shows, you know. And now it's like, this is our life. Like, this is our income. It's everything, you know. So it's just not the same. But I never felt it change.
It was a little bit weird when we first started the tour. Like, I had just seen my doctor, talk to him about how I didn't really want to take anxiety medication anymore because I felt like it was kind of numbing me. And at the same time, Anthony was going through a lot of shit and he was put on a bunch of different medications. And as soon as he told me what the doctor gave him, I was kind of like, fuck, that's crazy. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Good morning, doctor. Yes, constant diarrhea, frequent crying, nausea.
You know, he never asks anybody to worry about him or take care of him, but you can't help it. If you care about somebody, you do it anyway, you know? You know, there's no going back and like doing this differently. You know that your mother's like 65 years old and you made a choice 10 years ago to go out and like live your life, and you're never gonna live that life where you're close to your family and your niece and nephew and like just all of these people who are super important to you.
But it feels good. It feels like we're a band again. It felt like we were pretending for a while because we were just in a studio and in our own little bubble in a house by a creek for a long time. You don't really feel like a real band until you're out in this shit, doing it every day. Then it feels real all of a sudden. You know?
It just feels so good to like start playing again. You know, like being in writing mode for that long is like really, really tough near the end. Just because like, I think we all crave this. You know, we all crave to be playing shows. Like that's, at least for me, that's the reward of playing music. I just love being on stage and, you know, just having fun and feeling like the whole crowd's energy throwing back at me and throwing it back at them.
I love creating in general. I just like making something where there was nothing before, you know, like that act in itself is the closest thing to like, you know, godlike experience that I've ever had. You know, I have always associated creation with like spiritual type thing.
And it's not always easy. Sometimes it's the hardest fucking thing in the world, and it messes up relationships and messes up your brain. But definitely think there's a responsibility there.
You know, half of those kids drove 400 miles. I mean, half of them like saved up their entire month's pay to come see us. Like, we realize why we're able to pay our bills, and it's not because we're the best fucking band on earth. I mean, it's because we have a connection with our fans, and they care about us, and we care about them.
Just that amazing surrender feeling that you get when you hear something or when you do something. It's ridiculous to try to describe it. I was having my first year of marriage, and my wife and I suffered a miscarriage during the writing of the album while we were living in Pennsylvania, and that was like a brick in the face of blue sky noise. Like, it was just, you know, I lost my mind. I just went down to a serious depression, and ended up going into a psychiatric hospital for a little bit of time, just for exhaustion and depression.
I've been totally uprooted. I'm out of my house. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a cat. On one hand, it's like total freedom almost compared to what I'm used to. And then on the other hand, it's just like being tossed into the fire, you know, like, figure it out now. What are you doing? It's definitely crazy, you know. I don't want to be a fucking a loner and a nomad for the rest of my life, but maybe I just am right now.
Often I've come home from tour and just literally wanted to just like sit there in my parents' arms and cry and just be like, you know, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know like what I'm supposed to do. I don't want to steer the ship right now, you know.
read something that some kid said, and he was just like calling us sellouts and stuff, and I was kind of upset by it. I think just because like, just that I felt like that last tour we did was so like fan, like focused, like we were putting all this energy into like giving back to people that love the band, and then I had just gotten done writing a letter to a kid who actually was at one of the shows, and his best friend was at the show too, and the kid died like a week ago, and we were his favorite band. So I'm like, you know, writing this kid a letter, and it was just like a really emotional moment, like writing this kid this personal thing. I really genuinely felt like sorry and sympathetic towards his family, and just like, I felt like I lost a friend, which is weird because I don't know the person, but it's kind of like the connection I feel like we have with people that like our music, and to read someone say like, oh, you guys are sellouts, as I'm like spending most of my day like thinking about our fans, and those people, it just like threw me off. But you know, you can't pay attention to that 1% that's gonna try to bring you down. You have to like just like enjoy what's happening right now. It's like a ride, and you just have to appreciate it and just like soak in every beautiful moment. He was right, you know, and that's like what we're doing right now.
But also it can, if you understand the text, not the metaphor, there's no doubt, then
Interpreted completely different. Yeah, sure.
Everybody's like sober right now and got their shit together and doing really well, and I'm really proud of everybody for doing that, and I'm proud of Colin and Steve for like standing up beside Anthony and knowing that he doesn't want to drink and not having the shit around him, because like it's hard to quit when there's your best friend like doing it around you, you know. I've been through so many ups and downs of like, people are good for a while and then they fall back into the shit. Like, I really like to stay optimistic about it, but it's hard. So all I can really do is be grateful for what's going on right now, you know, like day by day thing.
Comes out to you, he doesn't stand back, he just fucking goes for it. It's amazing. It's just, he loves his fans, and not many bands do that.
It's really intense and really impressive what a person can give to you that you don't even know. You just know his music. I think because it's so real, deep, emotional, you can really connect to him. And it was like a long time friendship. It was the most intense experience of my life.
I just know that a lot of people drive really long distance shows sometimes, and it just would really suck, you know, to let those people down. We gotta do what we gotta do. But even though, you know, I know Anthony feels the same way. Take care of ourselves, and we gotta do those people down. So I'm sure he's pushing through it.
It's not like it was before. He was saying that he's trying to get completely clean. He was going to NA meetings, like he was trying to not do anything. He's not even smoking weed. So for me, it was a letdown. And I was really frustrated because he was doing so well, and I was so proud of him. And like, I'm kind of in the boat with him, and I, you know, like, I just felt really, I was frustrated. I was more angry at the situation than I was at him. I totally don't take it seriously, dude. I just don't want to lose my friend, you know? Like, that's all the stuff I would get worried about.
Like cabin on a mountain, we're so high. I still love her on that mountain, the cabin, so high, so high. Oh, I'm not feeling right. I'm not feeling right. And I haven't not one of these nights on the mountain in the cabin so high. It hasn't felt right. Hasn't felt right here in the cabin on the mountain so high, so high. Oh, so I know now that he feels right.
I had to make different decisions because I wasn't happy, and I wasn't doing myself or my band or my wife or anything any justice. Or by walking through it with my eyes closed, I just feel like stepping into a whole new time in my life that I have not been ready for until this moment. No, I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. I just know that I'm really grateful for all of this.
Love you no matter what. I'm doing the best that I can do, except that I love you no matter what. Marley or James, Michael or Jane, giant, small.
You know I'm leaving, right? Just leaving for a couple weeks. But I'll be back. I'll be back for a day here and there. We're okay. Don't hate me.
Even if I'm not around, especially if I'm not around, I just wanna know what's coming. I just wanna see what's coming. Don't we all wanna know?
This whole thing is like, it's not just about like making awesome music anymore. Making music that you love. It's not just about making music anymore. Am I cheating him out of like having time with his father by like doing this? Do I need to be doing this with my life? Couldn't I make music and be creative and all this shit without having to like go out and sell it like this? What kind of difference am I making by doing this? Like, how am I helping anybody? You know? The one thing that has definitely changed is that this like sense of wanting to be a good dad. And not by anybody's standards, not even by standards that I've completely understood on my own yet, but I just want to be there. You know?
give it up for Tosin. Everybody give it up for Animals as Leaders. Philly, baby. I can't thank you enough for doing this with all of us, being a part of this with us. Every night around this time, I make this speech about how you can do anything you want. Whatever you believe is what is true. Tonight, I really just want to say thank you. Thank you so much. I can't believe this is happening. We're very lucky to have each other.
I depend on this band for a lot of things, but I have no problem with it ending and starting again and just, redefining what my life is, I want individual happiness for every person in this band more than any success, that's more important to me. It's amazing to do this stuff, and it's definitely, a lot of people's dreams to do it, but for me, it's not worth the misery that comes out of people hating their life. You know what I mean? It's not worth what happens when you travel with people that you really care about and you can see they're just in pain or they're just wanting to be somewhere else. If Anthony one day decides, I just want to be a full-time dad, or I can't do this because it's tearing me away from my family, I'd understand. I'd fully understand. I miss my parents and my brother and sister and my fiance unbearably sometimes. So I can't even imagine what he's feeling. I can't even fathom being taken away from your newborn baby to do this. It is extremely difficult, and I can only assume that he sees a much bigger picture and he's providing for that family. I can't speak for him, I just see what's in his eyes every day, and there's definitely still a fire there. There's definitely something about this that's extremely important to him, and if nothing else, that motivates me on a daily basis because I started, this band with him. So for me, if he wasn't happy, it'd be completely worthless to me. So seeing that fire still burning inside of him is extremely, awesome. And I think all of us are motivated by his passion, and we're motivated by each other. But Anthony, without a doubt, is our leader. You know what I mean? And it means a lot to me to see his sacrifice.
It's just one of the best things that's ever happened, It saved me from not knowing what the hell to do with my life and brought me to a point where I felt like I was affecting people in a positive way.
I always avoid even thinking about not playing music because I don't know what else I can do. There's nothing else that I would want to do. There's nothing else that it's almost like I can't stop. You just gotta keep going, keep progressing.
Every time I looked out and a light would kind of blind me, I would see his little face. And I kept thinking, as ridiculous as this is, that he'd be so proud, that I was doing what I loved. And, as long as I can balance this with spending as much time with him as we both need, I think it's gonna be really awesome. I know why I'm here, and I know why, it's tough. I know, you know, what it's worth to me.
As one tour ends, the next album's writing cycle begins, and so continues the circle. But for those who can stick together, a rare and unique life awaits. This was but a glimpse into that world.
It would be a huge step back for me to stop. You know, if I stopped, I would have to get a job. Nothing that would even be comparable to what I'm doing now. So it's almost like I can't stop.
Don't fucking forget this, man. Don't take this for granted. Enjoy every last second of it, because it's gonna be gone.